What's up? This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of creditrepairshop.com, and in this video, answering a question where said that he said that excuse me, debt collector is suing them, and they're going to trial, and all they kept doing was sending statements. Let me just make sure. Debt collector sued me on behalf of a creditor, so it's on behalf of a creditor. I requested documentation validation, and they keep sending statements. If we go to trial, do I have a good chance to get this dismissed with prejudice? You do have a good chance of getting it dismissed if they just keep sending you statements. But what you got to do is you got to keep the back and forth going, that they are not sending you exactly what you're asking for. Now, something that you what I want to be very clear about. The debt collector, when you say that the debt collector is suing you on behalf of a creditor, you got to make, is this the original creditor or is it another debt collector that bought the portfolio? So I'm going to break down both of them. Uh, what's making me think potentially that this is a debt collector collecting on behalf of another debt collector is because they haven't provided you the signatures and all of the stuff. Because it would be very easy for the original creditor to just say, hey, or if they're not, maybe they're not passing it to the original creditor, and I'll tell you what to do if that's happening. But the original creditor would just say, hey, here it is. This is what they're asking for. Here it is, so we can get this thing moving. But if it's what you should do, and this type of stuff happens a lot, like what you're talking about, where they're just sending statements and you don't know if it's really, you think that it's the original creditor because they say it, but the way that they're reacting is like they don't have all the information, because you're even feeling that something isn't right. So let me tell you what to do. First thing you should do is you should do your debt validation and you should send it to the original creditor. And then you should make a phone call to the debt collector and ask them, and they're recording this, and they could potentially just hang up on you, because this happens a lot when we have clients do this, is you call that debt collector and you ask them and say that I got your demand for the demand letter. I've sent debt validations, but I have one quick question for you. Do you own this debt, or is that company the original creditor that they state? Is that the company that is trying to collect from you? They cannot lie on that recording. They cannot, they might, but they can't lie. So what you have to do is you have to, that would be one of the things that you should do. Call them up and ask them that. Other thing is you write to the original creditor and say, do you still own this debt? Because I'm getting a demand letter from this debt collection company that say you own it. We've had companies that have actually sued clients, and then when we asked that question, they were suing them. Asked that question in the summons response, and then had the client call the debt collector. The whole case ended up just they didn't have, they dismissed it. The court didn't dismiss it. The debt collector dismissed it. And the debt collector also hung up in our client's face because they don't want to have that recorded on the phone, because they just submitted to the court that the original creditor was suing them when it wasn't the original creditor, it was a debt collector. So a lot of this stuff, it just depends on what debt collector is trying to come after you, what uh, I guess how bold they are on trying to scare you on saying that the original creditor is suing you when they're not. That does happen, because you got to think about it. Most people don't show up to court. Most people don't answer the responses. So more than likely, 9 times out of 10, even if they lie and they don't even have any of the information to prove that the debt is yours, 9 times out of 10, the people that they sue will not show up to court. So they're like playing with house money. They mostly know that you will either quit, get frustrated, and not show up. I mean, they really have that in their back pockets. That's like the whole industry on with the credit bureaus, knowing that people will just quit at some point. That's why they made it easy to just do a code verification. And then the courts. I mean, it's really a simple response that you have to do, but they just know most people aren't going to do it, and they just make it easy. Default judgment, or they just say judgment because you didn't follow the instructions that are required by the court. So keep all of your paperwork. If they try to sue you, then you'll have that request for debt validation. When they try to sue you, you'll have to just incorporate that in your summons response. But if you do those other two steps, calling them and asking them to make sure that the original creditor is coming after you, and to let them know that you've made numerous requests to get the contract and other documents, and they just keep sending statements, and that you have a right to get all of that information, they may just say that they're going to dismiss it and cease all collection activities. All right, I hope that answered your question. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different. I show my 8-point validation process for repairing credit. If you need your reports and scores, because everything starts there, furnishers, charge offs, all of those dates that you're going to need to kind of put up a fight with debt collectors if they purchase your debt, or even with original creditors if you have some type of dispute on the amounts. Uh, go to your order number 3 scores, get those reports. If you have problems with debt collectors sending you letters, or you have debt that's past the legal statute of limitations, or you need a debt validation letter, a more complete one, those links are below this video. And if you need help where you're getting sued, I have a do-it-yourself pro se defense where I show you step by step how to respond, or you can have us do it for you. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.